Welcome to Happy Learning. Now we are going to see Robert Gagne's hierarchy of learning. Today we are going to know about the theory of conditioning learning. So Gagne's background and published work are seen in this conditioned learning theory. So conditioned theory of learning relates with three distinct components. One, it is related with taxonomy of learning outcomes, that is related with learning domains. The next one, 9 instructional events and specific learning condition, hierarchy of learning. So according to Gagne, what he is relating is learning defined as a change in human disposition or capacity which can be retained and which is not simply ascribable to the process of growth. He defined 8 basic types and arranged these according to the hierarchy level. According to Gagne, the higher order of learning, this hierarchy, built upon the lower levels, requiring progressively greater amount of previous learning for their success. Please check it out. First, it starts with signal learning, and the second step with stimulus response learning, SR learning. Third steps move on with chain learning, and afterwards comes the verbal learning method, and fifth relates with discrimination of learning things, and the sixth steps relate with concept formation, and with concept formation the seventh step relates with principle of learning. When we acquire this type of learning, lastly we will go to the step of problem solving. So we can finalize to learn to solve a problem. So now we will see one by one. Signal learning. This is the classical conditioning form of learning. And here stimulus response learning. It is related to trial and error form of learning, and we have seen it in operant conditioning. And the third step relates with chain learning. 2 or more ideas are grouped together, putting together previously learned stimulus. Here in this chain learning we can see verbal chaining and motor chaining. So verbal learning, fourth one, it's related to the verbal chains. The fifth step relates to multiple discrimination, ability to discriminate between things or objectives. And coming to the sixth step of concept learning, concept formation, sensation, perception, abstraction and comparison, generalization, all these things will be made over in the brain. A perspective, idea can be created, a concept will be formed during the sixth step. And by seventh is principle learning, chaining of 2 or more concepts, making out an idea. And lastly, it is related with problem solving. It is a process of combining previously learned principles for the purpose of solving complicated problematic situations. So, as a teacher, what are the educational implications we can make over in the classroom? The teaching learning activities should be so arranged that it should go in accordance with the mental ability of the learner at each level of the learning hierarchy. The formal education should be planned on the basis of increasing complexity of the different type of learning, so that what is acquired at one grade acts as a foundation for learning in the subsequent grades. Teacher should ensure that the learner has acquired the necessary initial stage of learning before he is introduced to subsequent level of learning. Due weightage should be given to the learning hierarchy while learning or framing the curriculum. The role of teacher is to plan and control the external events which influence the internal mental process. A teacher should be a designer and manager of instruction and an evaluator of student learning. So be the best teacher to implement all these ideas in your classroom. Previous learning is very much needed and it formulates the base for further learning. Please keep it in mind and go ahead with this theory. Thank you.